We're currently in a very interesting era for animation. With corporate mergers, issues with streaming, and the rise of indie cartoons, things have been shaken up quite a bit as of late. While some of these changes haven't been good, I think animated series are in a good moment right now. There's some solid shows out there, so today I'm gonna go through what I consider to be the top 5 best modern cartoons. Before we begin, the only rule is that every show needs to have premiered before 2020. Now, let's get things started. Smiling Friends has started to decay as it's gone on, but I still think it's a very entertaining show. It has a basic workplace comedy setup, but it has enough quirks and charm to stand out. The varied art and animation styles keep it visually interesting, and most episodes have at least one memorable moment in them. It's also got a fairly likable ensemble cast, particularly Pim and Charlie, who are a fun spin on the optimist and pessimist duo you see in other shows. The humor is this show's strongest aspect though, and with the variety of jokes it throws at you, at least if you are gonna stick the landing, but I do believe that the show slowly feels less spontaneous, especially in the latest season. Eventually you can start predicting when a natural bit of dialogue will happen or a weirdly designed character will show up, which does take away from the show's charm, which isn't helped by how a lot of the characters feel like they've had their personalities simplified. Even with that in mind, it's worth checking out. I had very low expectations for this one, but somehow, it turned out to be not just good, but really good. Haunted Hotel looks like it's gonna be a generic adult cartoon with a paranormal layer on top, but it has a surprising amount of depth to it. The characters are all well defined and likable, with Abaddon being the best one, and throughout the season there's a sense of development that to this day isn't something adult cartoons go through with for more than an episode. The writing is overall very solid, with good humor and interactions, and it isn't afraid to dig a little deeper into the personalities of its characters, which is especially noticeable in the last 2 episodes. It may be visually generic, but it makes up for it in every other way. Rock Paper Scissors is one of those shows that's just fun. It's just about the wacky adventures of 3 roommates who are also the options you have when playing RPS, and pretty much anything can happen. They're a really likable set of characters with a very entertaining dynamic, and the side cast isn't far behind either. Another positive aspect I can point out is how strong the comedy is, which is impressive since a lot of it is dialogue based, but somehow it keeps finding ways to surprise you. The stories often feel unique from each other, there's a good range of settings, and the mixed media aesthetic looks very appealing, and pairs well with the decent, if a little inconsistent rigged animation. This one is definitely worth watching. Common Side Effects is a show unlike any other in this list. It has a serialized story that progresses throughout each episode, with a lot of ambition and great character development. This section will be spoiler-free, so all I'll say is that it takes some bold turns throughout the season that keep the tension high, and the central conflict of the show is handled with an impressive amount of nuance. The tone is very carefully balanced, and it has the ability to be just as funny as it is gripping. Every character feels very well constructed, and with only 10 episodes, you learn a lot about them, and the decisions they start making become more impactful, especially with our leads, Marshall and Francis, who go through some very profound conflicts that highlight how strong the show's emotional core also is. The character designs are definitely not for everyone, but the realistic character acting, cinematic backgrounds and staging make up for it. It built a great foundation in its first season, and now it's got the potential to build one of the most special stories told during this decade of animation. This show may not have the same amount of depth or varied storytelling as some of the other shows on this list, but The Patrick Star Show is by far the most enjoyable cartoon right now. To get it out of the way, the first season is mostly just decent, but as soon as you get to the Patterfly Effect, it becomes a board-driven show and a damn good one. The characters are surprisingly very likable, including Patrick, who's shockingly a lot less annoying than in the mainline show, as he has a wide enough array of characters to balance out his stupidity. which also feels less obnoxious since he has enough energy to make his in-universe show engaging. He's less enjoyable when he's turned into a gimmick character like in the Patron or Pat the Hapless segments, but those have fortunately been phased out for the most part as the show has gone on. His family created for the show is also very fun and charming, and I also have to give it props for showing a lot of restraint when it comes to using the rest of the SpongeBob cast, only bringing them in when the plot demands it or for a good joke. Speaking of jokes, that's where the show excels. The show has a really good mix of old and new styles of comedy, elevated by some very high quality and expressive animation. It's certainly the most fun and enjoyable modern cartoon, and it's definitely earned this spot. Thank you all for watching this video. Remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you later.